Hello, effect enthusiasts, effect enjoyers. Welcome to our stream. Yeah, I think that today Tim and I are going to talk about a few things. I think one thing we'll chat about is some of the work that Tim's been putting in trying to see how we can get LLMs to perform a little better on Effect v4. And then we thought it might be fun to try to port some of the Discord bot code over to v4 because I don't think it's using v4 yet. And we could maybe try out Tim's tool to like get a little bit of early feedback and see if the LLMs perform better with it. So maybe Tim, you could give us like a quick overview of what you've been working on, and we can sort of go from there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my screen.
How many effect enjoyers do we have with us today so far? One's in the chat for all the effect enjoyers.
I enjoy effect. I could put one in the chat.
Tim's popping one in the chat, everyone. Let it be known that he enjoys effect.
And I did. Okay. So for the AI stuff,
I'm gonna
there is no.
while you're presenting, Tim, I'm gonna do this little picture-in-picture thing layout because on my stream, otherwise, like your screen gets really tiny.
Gotcha. So in the root of the effect repository is a markdown file. And the idea is this markdown file is kind of like the one-stop shop for AI. And the idea is it does progressive disclosure on most things, but then has like a base level of context that is important enough to include at the top level. So at the top level, it just includes things like how to use effect.gen and effect.fn, how to create a service, and error handling. And then everything else is just links. So if it needs to find out more about streams, then it can follow these links. If it needs to find out more about managed runtime or batching or observability or whatever, then it follows these links. And this document is automatically generated from the AI docs code. And basically it just has a bunch of contentions. Like everything is written as code, so as the repository evolves, it gets type checked and gets linted and all that kind of stuff, so it won't go out of date. And then there's like a DofGen tool that like pulls out all this information and turns it into the top level LLMs document. So the idea is you point in like your agents, whatever, you point it to this file, and then it uses that to build up context about what it's trying to build. So if we go into one of these, like creating fixed sources, so the LLM would see that, follow the link, and then it's just code. And the idea is like all this code is like embedded by the effect team, and it's kind of like gold standard of effect code. So when we're like creating all of these examples, we need to be like very careful that it's following best practices and this code that like effect experts would write themselves, rather than kind of like lots of pseudocode. Like for example, it's probably a bad example because it's about services. We go to HTTP client. So like it's using the service pattern everywhere. It's using like type first services and using kind of like production level kind of like code, or code that I'd probably write for production level services. So the stuff that's going into AI's context window is like actually because AI is like glorified autocomplete, we sort of make sure the code that's going into the context window is like examples that it can like copy paste from. So everything is using with spanning, all that kind of stuff. So that's the idea. I have tried it out a little bit, and it generates pretty good code, but it just needs more content. So I'm just like slowly filling it out with how to use effect cluster, or how to do batching, and all that kind of stuff.
The idea that is the idea that a user would like clone the effect repo to get access to this tool, or is the idea to make it available via some other mechanisms or multiple mechanisms? Like, what were you thinking?
The idea was to clone the effect repo and then just point it at that file, because it still needs to, like, the idea of the docs is not to like list out every single API, but kind of like set the direction and then let it explore the repository if it needs to find out more specific information. So at the top of the file, it says this document resides in the Figma repo, which contains source code. And I only use this documentation in source code found in packages.
Makes sense.
And then, yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. But yeah, a lot of it is just progressive disclosure and making sure like all the examples are of very high quality and are not just like documentation code, but rather code that you would find in a real app to set the right tone.
Makes sense.
So I think my latest additions have watched in. Yeah, more AI docs.
I guess we could give it a go on the Discord bot, because this particular code base, you haven't migrated this code base yet, right?
No,
Is DFX using Effect 4?
yeah, I have migrated it.
So interesting. Got it. So, but this is probably using an older version of DFX.
It will be using the factory version right now. Add effects or repo option to issue. So we check out new branch right before. We don't really have AI migration links here, but do we have agents?
The migration MD file is somewhat helpful, but I don't think it's like enough in the small repo.
So we just quickly add like warning or hello. And it's here if I was there's comments. Oh, cool. So we make directory dot refers and like that. To go ignore. Yeah, that's right. We can keep the mono repo structure. I think I'll get rid of cluster. It's not really used right now. We get rid of the running workbench. And then
Tim, I'm hearing a lot of like wind sound through your mic. I'm not sure if it's sitting on your
my
shirt
windows
or
open.
if you.
It's just gentle breeze.
The gentle breeze for the rest of us. No, for the rest of us, it sounded like a tornado.
Funny.
I'm going to screw around with the layout a little bit just to see if I can't get both of us on the screen. Anyway, very limited in the layouts I can use. Do you know? This is a dumb question, but do you know what the difference between the Discord REST and the Discord gateway is? Like, I know they're two different APIs that Discord has, but like, I've used them both, but I still don't really understand why there's two.
The gateway is just like their website and stuff, and
It's
the
their
rest
like
is just
event.
their. The rest is just their HTTP API.
The gateway is like what like their event stream over WebSockets API type thing.
Yeah, so that's where all the events come down. And then when you're actually like fetching information, you're using the REST API.
But you can listen to events over their REST API as well, can't you? Or no?
Not
Maybe I
really, no.
didn't.
Do we have language service in here? Excellent, eh? All load up pretty excellent.
Every new project I create now is every single one is Oxlint and Ox format.
Yeah.
They're just so good and they're so easy to set up. And they're so fast. I don't know.
Discord. Oh, good. Jetson. I'm getting rid of the workspace dependencies in here. Maybe I domain anymore. Make this orange. Yeah. Label actions. That's the top.
God bless you. Just for the people in the audience who are watching and wondering what we're doing, we had at one point in time refactored the Discord bot to be like an effect cluster running on fly.io. But we never really ended up making use of the clustering capabilities very much because we just never built out the Discord bot beyond like its bot functionalities. So
Yeah.
right now we're just simplifying. We're just simplifying things to turn it back into just like a bot and remove all the cluster stuff.
Cool. If we now just upgrade to beta. Also, to packages. Let's go. Let's go fix platform. Platform node beta. And then this upgrade defects. Let's see.
Double check that the add effect platform node beta installed the actual beta, because I did this the other day and it didn't work. The effect beta thing worked, but like the scoped package didn't work.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know. I tried doing this the other day and it didn't work.
What's that? Beta 14. Okay, okay. Let's quickly upgrade DF6. Let's do this. Yeah.
Oh, you're in DFX now?
Yeah, I'm just bumping that up. A beta version.
I got so confused. I was like, why do I see Oxlint running? I don't think we have that in the Discord bot. Mattia, what's up? Mattia's in the chat.
Hello, Mattia. That's a quick region.
Gonna have to rotate your key, Tim. I can steal that I can steal that QR code and get a passkey.
You need my phone then.
Fair enough. The North Rock, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it very much. I gotta get like stream notifications so that when people follow me, something exciting happens.
Oh yeah.
What exciting sound should play? Should we get like a SpongeBob clip? I love SpongeBob.
Just like something saying like "affect or die."
Wait. Where what's a good LLM that generates sounds?
I didn't know.
Audio generation LLM 11 Labs. Isn't 11 Labs voice? Oh yeah, that's what we want though. Hmm.
And finish.
I want to do all this work. Somebody out there just like generate a really good sound for the stream for when somebody follows or subscribes.
It's like so okay. And
ChatGPT can't generate sounds.
wait.
Seems
So we
like
need that. We do need that. And we
SpongeBob playing the flute with his nose. Hell yeah.
open AI beta. And the things. I think that's super updated. No, we have lots of top ratings. Description. So you should look up for the looks good.
We can probably simplify this substantially now, at least in the future. We only need one fly deployment now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't have to be now, but like just thinking for the future. Can definitely simplify this quite a bit.
Yeah.
Also, for my day to day, I've swapped from Claude over to Codex, and I've been very happy with it. I enjoy Codex quite a bit.
Yeah, I've been using Codex for quite a while. It's nuts.
Why code when agents can do it better? Well, here at Effectful, we actually have our own LLM. Probably one of the most advanced LLMs on the market currently.
Get rid of that service. Also cluster integration. Get rid of cluster.
Is that LLM called Tim Smart? Can't get anything by you guys. Let's see. What did you send me? You could overlay this already green screen. Let me see. I could. I do like that. Although I really want to like do some sound generation on what Tim said. Like have I guess 11 Labs is the company that you go to when you want audio generation. I don't know. 11 Labs. Let's see. Give away all my data. Yes. Please.
Do it.
Please take my data. Okay. Let's see. What's your name?
And then let's run like update.
This. 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 Is there no like free tier?
Oh, mate.
What was the prompt that you gave it? You wanted
I said effect or die in an epic voice.
say back that
I just said effect or die with spaces in between.
or die in an epic voice.
Can you choose your voice, or is it?
Yeah, there's like a lot of stuff in here. Wow. The ultimate bro, Chadwich.
Change for
Ooh, there's Declan, the horror narrator. Wait, let's listen to this guy's voice. What does it sound like? Wait, can you hear my sound? Probably not, right?
No, I can.
How do I get Riverside to also do my sound? Probably can't. It's like so dumb.
You would need to use another app to do that.
Oh, well, that's annoying.
I bet you can do it with whatever that software is called that streamers use. OBS.
I do have OBS, but I just don't use it with Riverside because it's such a pain in the neck.
What's my take on junior devs? Are they completely cooked? The answer is no. Like, we'll always need software engineers, and if we need software engineers, there's always going to need to be juniors. So I think junior devs just need to learn differently, probably. Like at this point, you still need someone to like review the AI's output and have the knowledge to know when it's producing good things or bad things. And to get to that point, you still need people that know what they're doing. So we'll still need juniors.
Wait,
Well,
this is so good. Wait, wait. Wait, how do I share this? Okay, generate speech. How do I share this? Share.
I don't know how we would play a sound. We would probably
I
just
sent
need
it
to
to you in
play it through a
Discord.
speaker. I don't have like an audio router set up to get it to
Okay,
play
I'm
in.
not. I just want you to
It's
hear
just
it.
for my enjoyment.
Yeah, it's just for your enjoyment. You nerds in the stream can't listen. This is like hilarious. Infect or die. Oh, wait, we can hear it because it's coming through your speakers. That's amazing. Fact or die.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think I can tune it to get a little better, but this is pretty funny. There's some interesting voices on here.
Getting mixed errors.
Ooh, nothing like a good old Nix error. Yeah, you have to so in the most recent version of Nix packages unstable, there's no more core pack, I don't think. Or maybe it was something else. You have to do like node.js underscore 24 and core pack underscore 24. I swear.
Okay.
Yeah, just put underscore 24
Okay.
and then try that.
Well,
I swear Nix breaks their own Nix packages more than I used to break our public facing API when I was at Tumblr.
I mean, probably I don't have to like tweak Nix that much. I just every now and again update it. Right, yeah, right. Then I do not want to use Opus for this.
Wait, I gotta hear the Jim bro say effect or die. Where did he go? Philosophical Jim bro. Oh no, he's not. It's not as funny as it. Yes, wait.
I am already good. What's this?
Not as funny as I thought it would be. Anyway.
We're going to see how it goes.
Yeah, I agree with Tim's take, by the way. I don't think that junior devs are completely cooked, but I do think that in today's market, you probably have to stand out a little bit more than you might have had to in the past. But I don't think that juniors are cooked.
Uh,
Did it read your LLMs.md?
it did.
Oh, it did. Yeah.
It read migration. And now it's checking type errors. Maybe I should have cloned DHX as well. DFX. DFX. And about the DFX.
Is that how you're supposed to pronounce it? Defects?
I just say the words.
Defects? Is that the hidden meaning behind DFX?
Så stark vi kan det. Wins was installed.
Exactly, Mattia. I think that's the hidden meaning behind DFX. I think in reality, we're supposed to pronounce it defects.
Effect or die.
Effect or die. Effect or die. It's like the Doom. It's like a Doom character. Guys, I think that might
Let's
have
have a
to be
look.
my follow sound. I think I'm gonna need to
It
like.
did pretty good. The cloud code
It
did
did
pretty
actually do
good.
pretty good.
Worked out config changes, where the new modules are. If it hasn't worked out log levels yet. AI.
I mean, this is good in terms of signals to know like what additional stuff we need to add in.
Surprise. I think my plan for the migration stuff is to get a full list of every API in version 3, filtered down to the ones that have changed or got removed, and then for every single one, give a migration note. So it'll be a lot of work, but we can then use that to generate code mods or give to agents.
Yeah.
But that should help with migration quite a lot. Believe.
Another question was, what are some ways that juniors can stand out? Full understanding of agentic coding plus foundational knowledge or something else? No, I don't mean like understanding how to use agents or anything like that. I mean, I think building stuff and being able to talk about the stuff that you build, which was already in the era before LLMs. That was already an important skill, right? It was like being like having built something that you were passionate about, and then being able to speak intelligently about the thing that you built. Um, I don't think that's changed. I think that that's just like more of a requirement now. Like, I think folks who can't do that will really struggle, especially in an era where you can build whatever you want and um, not have to know anything about it, right? Like, you could build a piece of software and who's speaking? Maybe I will just change the layout back. Everybody's confused about the ephemeral voice that just keeps talking. uh, sorry, I had the layout on Riverside set so that it would make Tim's screen bigger. But anyway, my point is that I think that if you build things through agentic coding, like being able to like talk about the things that you build, in an intelligent way is much more important now than it was before. No, I don't mean like building x.com from scratch with AI. I mean building a project that's useful for yourself. Like, you know, solve a problem that you have or that somebody else has with software and then be able to talk about that. I think that's like an amazing thing to be able to speak about in an interview.
Yeah, it's got to show that you're a curious person that's willing to learn and not just someone who just wants to show up and then leave.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it's
always
because
been the case.
I feel like it's just like all become amplified in the era of AI, right? Because you can learn things so much quicker, and you have all this knowledge at your fingertips, and like you can build things so much faster. Like it's really easy to put out just total garbage and not know anything about what you're building. Um, but I think the engineers who are going to be successful are ones who are really pushing the limits of AI, and also have a good understanding of what their agents are like actually doing.
How's it going? We're already at 30% context usage.
Not too bad, honestly, with all the work it's been doing.
Yeah.
I mean, with all the files it's read and all the work it's been doing, I feel like that's not too bad. So you work with open code with the LSP on. I turn it off because I feel like I don't know, I feel like it gets really confused. Do you think that have you tried turning it on and off, or not really?
I just use the default settings. Uh, it's hard to know. I haven't tried it without it.
Tia
Well, that's
says,
pretty good
I
news.
tried to have a shot at the migration DB for the LSP as well, and the TypeScript API ensures that both all the old APIs are documented and referenced ones exist, but there's still a long way to go. It looks like Mattia's dropped in the chat like some work that he's been doing in that realm, Tim. Here. In the realm of what you were referring to about migration. What project are we refactoring? We're testing out some of the LLM instruction, the LLM context that Tim has put together in Effect V4. We're testing out how that works to refactor our Discord bot from Effect V3 to Effect V4.
Yeah, I guess it'll be something like this. Renamed.
How's it going? I don't know yet. We're sort of letting Codex go wild.
It seems to be doing pretty good.
Yeah, it's
Even
definitely
in my
doing some
test
stuff.
config.
So, screw you, Tim. You don't know how to configure TypeScript.
I mean, I'm okay if it is relative imports.
Oh. Yeah, I think it's definitely helping the agent with some of the lesser well-known APIs in effect. But we'll have to wait and see, like, when it spits out the final product, how it did.
Yeah. Interesting. What
Yeah,
about
not sure about those imports.
exports? It missing semicolons. Do with those imports instead. If I go to part and list any of the files.
Did you one-shot it, like migrate to V4, or did you pass some docs and a bunch of details? Tim has been working on, we talked about this at the beginning of the stream, but Tim has been working on some LLM instructions for not necessarily for migration, but just to give the agents context about Effect V4 to let them perform a little better. So we cloned the Effect V4 repository into the Discord bot project, into like a get ignored folder. And then we told the agent to read the LLM instructions index thing that Tim had put together. Because if you look in the effect small repo, you'll see there's like an llms.md at the root now, which is kind of serves like an index for the agent about like the knowledge base and patterns. And then we told it to do the migration. So in a way, I guess it was a one-shot type of thing, but we gave it tons of context and examples through like having the access to the repository, and then also like the work that Tim's been doing on this, like I guess you can call it like AI docs or whatever, but it's basically a bunch of TypeScript files and Markdown that explain like very concisely that show like the LLMs, like the golden patterns that we as the effect maintainers recommend. To hopefully put the like most, I don't know, Tim put it really well before, to make sure that the LLMs have like the best patterns in their context. So.
Yeah. I think migrated to ESM, but does he not have any exports? Does it generated package.trace accounts?
Are you using build details in this project?
But it looks like that package.json is not the one that's in the actual package. No, I did wrong. Publish config directory dis. That's right. I go to npm package dbkx. That does not look. That doesn't look right, does it?
That doesn't look right.
Oh dear. If we just do a bump. And then build. Like just needing to power chain.
Did you refactor DFX's like publish pipeline to take out build utils?
No.
Okay, because if you did it, if you were going ESM only, I think you would need like the same
It's
setup
not
we have in
ESM, only it's dual build at the moment.
Got it.
Update. Mhm.
What are we at? 42%? That's really not that bad. I feel like Codex is very efficient with context management.
Yeah. Well,
I
I
also
haven't really
gave
used Claude that much. So.
Kimmy 2.5 a shot the other day for some stuff, and it also I feel like that model performs pretty well for being like an open weight model. It performs very well.
Yeah, I did try it. It's quite fast, I think. What's faster than codecs?
Mhm.
Probably tell agents to use prettier.
Damn, it's 2026.
It's still the easiest format enough to get set up.
I'm busting your balls, dude. Matthias says he finds Codex to be too much of a hey, can I do it for my taste? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's it's tunable. What I like about Codex, maybe this is what you don't like about it, but I like that when I finish like a complex task, sometimes it often will say, "Hey, I can also do XYZ for you if you want." And oftentimes the XYZ that it suggests is like the next thing I was going to ask it to do anyways. I do think that at least in my very limited testing so far, Claude is producing better had did produce better plans. Um, but I think it's just me not prompting Codex well enough. Say the word and I'll do it. Yeah.
Review. Right. Let's just make sure it's this one. Default license.
Really likes default. But Tim, I like default. It's like it's like Mike is performing this refactor.
Yeah. I don't really like default. It's not very obvious what it is default.
I hated default. I always did. But I was overruled.
Yeah. That'll be on. A really big dish.
Just a few changes.
I find Codex really good at just like doing the task in just the task instead of going off and rewriting stuff.
Yes and no.
Go.
Sometimes it does go off on a journey, but you can usually reel it in pretty fast. But you're right, like some of the other models will just go off and they'll enter the desert and you'll see them in like 40 days and they'll have refactored a lot more
Yeah.
than you ever bargained for.
I mean, I'm using Codex with the orchestrator, and I just give it like very simple tasks, like add CLI dot command dot whatever, and then maybe an extra sentence in the description, and it usually one shots everything.
Yep.
I might like give it a little bit of feedback here and there.
Also, Codex
It's
seems
just
way more precise and takes literally where's Claude? Yeah, that's exactly what Tim was saying. That that Codex seems to stay like very much on task. I don't know. I'm also just very disillusioned with Anthropic recently, with all the stuff that's been going on. So I'm happy. I'm happy to be using a, a model from a company that lets me use open code.
yeah.
Although, like I said, I would be very happy using Kimi 2.5 on for my day to day. Like I feel like it performs pretty well. Like it's not as good as 5.3 or Claude, but uh, I I got a bunch done the other day with it.
It looks like it's doing pretty good.
Fugue State, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. Effect or die. In lieu of my follow sound, I'll just do it myself for anybody who follows or subscribes. Feel bad for Tim if anybody else subscribes that he has to listen to me do that.
We need agents, do you?
Reread. Let's let's get back on task, okay? Oh God, more people are following. It wasn't meant to entice you folks to follow. Julian, thank you very much for the
Effect
follow.
or die.
Effect or die. Oh God, more people are. This was not the point. Radon 90 and JKFSDA. Thank you very much for the follows as well. Effect or die. Tim, play the video that I sent you.
Let me pull it on.
You guys can tell me.
Die.
You guys can tell me how close I come to the
Effect
the
or die.
I like it.
Is it using prettier yet?
Even the agent doesn't want to use prettier, Tim.
I've been finding using pre-commit hooks quite good with agents.
Yeah, I had a talk
As
with
long as they're like really fast, like as long as they run within like a second or so.
I had a talk with Jeffrey Huntley, the guy behind Ralph,
Yeah.
the other like a few weeks ago. Maybe it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Had the opportunity to chat with him for a while. Later, Mattia. Have a good evening. And he had mentioned as well that like the pre-commit hooks, as much as we all hate them as developers, that the AIs, like the additional back pressure that gives to the agents, actually is like quite helpful. And because they're programmable as well, like you can build your own hooks. They can be really useful for things like validation steps that may not like have a tool purpose built for them. Like for example, in his Loom project, he has a pre-commit hook. Like he's using Cargo to Nix as the tool for managing builds through Nix, but still letting him use Cargo for like development.
Yeah.
And you have to regenerate the cargo.nix file every time you make a dependency change. in order to keep like nicks and your actual build in sync. So he just had the LLM write a little script and add it as a pre-commit hook, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Please use prettier, for God's sake. Well, for all the folks that did follow, thank you very much. That was much appreciated. I
This
really
is
want to
generally
like
not how I
see
use AI, but
typically how you use AI. You said, yeah, me either.
yeah,
But it is kind of cool to see how close it can get.
it's good for like monitoring AI, how AI performs in a project. Though is using a conversation fridge
Yep.
and watching every change it does, like adding SED.
We should definitely add. I mean, I don't know if this is something that belongs in like the effect LLM's MD or if it just belongs in your agent's MD. But
There is an unknown in here. Is that the error chart? Oh, it's because it's using unknown. Says unknown in the error channel. Yeah,
requirements.
wow. It's fine. What create issue? Yeah, that's the problem. Uh, any yeah,
Classic. Fantastic. These clankers, man, I'm telling you. I think Tim is actually the one in our little group who started with the clankers term, and it has just stuck like so hard.
I think other people have used it.
Well, I'm gonna credit you with it. So
Okay. Messages. Oh, it's been casting in here.
nice, nice, nice. You love to see it.
Right. Agents. Do not use as any or need to add liberals for this.
Did you switch your keyboard layout?
Yeah, I'm QWERTY now. I was like context switching too much between my laptop keyboard and my split keyboard. So I just wanted to like unify them both, so I'm not like
Makes
context
sense.
switching all the time, getting slow.
Makes sense.
Yeah, does this start look better now? Yeah.
My kids just got home.
Oh, nice.
Refactoring. Wonder what other voices 11 Labs has for me to play with. Rolls? What's this one? Oh, I hate that one. Let's look. Let's look. Chadwich was great, but not broy enough. Deep, low, seductive, strong British man, Edward.
Refit compaction.
Do you do preemptive compaction? Because I see you're at 63%.
I'm guessing that it does it by default.
I don't think it does. I don't think open code does. Like Dylan has a plugin for it, which is the only reason I know that term.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I did it at 60%, so I'm not sure why I did that.
Unless I'm wrong, and open code now has preemptive compaction. Somebody in chat can tell me.
All right.
Wait a minute.
In bed.
Hmm.
Still doing a lot of NS. This I love all channel.
Who needs a type, anyways?
It's still about the channel 200. Is eligible channel. Uh, Maybe I was going to top up channel. to eligible message. Thanks, Lynn. The message response.
It's interesting that it's just stripping types.
Yeah. Okay, right, message, right, dispatching. What type was it? This one. Yeah, but then, Discord.message response. It should stay in this lane.
In your lane. Codex.
As any. Not sure if any of these are valid. So they can all go. We don't need to choose people. Well, I gotta find dust for that.
Flankers said we don't need it anymore.
Like it says. We get check out. Yeah, it got deleted. Did I delete that?
I feel like our beautiful clanker would never do that.
Get check out. Name. Believe this. I'm sorry. Also not. Some text or about that. Yeah, here. Get jeans. Even if it's time.
Yeah, it's interesting that it wants to look at the different repos directory. I wonder if we need to make the agent instruction more clear because
Yeah, I'm not sure why that's trying to go off a directory.
well, I get this only started after it compacted, I think.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like the construction and the agents.md probably just needs to be more like explicit about where
Right.
repos is, because it is also a get ignored directory.
Fixed. Oh,
No such element exception is wrong.
Optional with.
I don't remember if Julio added the combinators we were going to add. We were going to add like an optional with null as, forget the exact thing. I don't think he added it yet.
Option from optional. That's what we want. I think you would have to add null or this one. Decode. Okay.
That's a good call out for the LLM docs. I don't know if it's already in there, but the self thing.
Oh yeah. At least in the migration notes.
It is in the migration notes.
Oh yeah.
I just don't know if the LLM's MD references the migration notes.
Got it. And let's migrate to that file to patch it again. This.
All things considered, given that your LLM's MD docs are not complete yet, it's not doing too bad.
Yeah. Well, I think once we had better migration docs. Redacted is showing us not similar to redacted content. Oh. Did we add undefined in there? Yeah, for the lab
I got
concept,
place.
it needs to do that.
Yeah, the undefined in the wrong place.
I think it needs to be in both classes. We upgrade GPT while we're here.
Roll Jippity. Loves the semicolons today.
Yeah. What's it called? Cannot read file. Oh no, check recursive. No type errors. I think that's finished.
The Clanker did it. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you our refactored app.
Again. Not changing anything, but
did it change the prettier config? It's fantastic.
That'd be funny.
I was like, screw you, Tim. I'm just gonna delete your prettier. Johnny JTH, what window manager is that? I believe that is aerospace.
Yes, aerospace. What's it doing now? We take a look at main. Do I have a prettier here? If you like an oil, do you have to toggle hidden files?
Yeah, it's G dot.
Default. Handling come seems like I have competing conflicts or something. Oh, is that the excellent? Do the formatting. Oh yeah, there's a deep one here. I have event instructions in.
Come in here and just replace the whole thing with Oxlint and Ox format.
I have Lint in here. Lint notes. Lint.
Well, boy.
Okay, so that's not here now. Just removed it.
It's like screw it. um, cool. Well, maybe. Oh, it is really going through some stuff. Oh, it's going through
Oh,
the
let's check.
recursive. It's going through .repos.
Let's zero ignore here. Ignores. Oh, refactor. Added back mentions. Why would I do that? I guess let's test it at some point.
Well, I think maybe next week we can tackle refactoring the flag, or we can do it off stream too. We can just fix the flag configs and try deploying it, but
Yeah.
But we'll update you all next week on whether or not the Clankers refactor actually worked. I mean, you'll know if you're in our Discord and you see everything going to shit, then you'll know it didn't work. Anyway,
All right.
thank you all for joining our stream tonight. Hope you enjoyed just letting us watch the agents work. But yeah, have a good one, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Cheers, everyone.
Yeah.